KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tateosian, 90.7 KFSR.
Welcome to another edition of the Central Valley Ledger. We're recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. And here we are in downtown recording this. Ironic that our guest is with the Downtown Fresno Partnership, the new executive director.
President and CEO.
President and CEO. Yeah. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Jimmy?
Yes.
And how do you say your last name?
Cerracchio.
Cerracchio.
Yes.
That's
nice,
not
long,
that hard.
complicated one, actually.
Cerracchio.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fresno.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you, in reading your bio, you've worked in some interesting cities.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the cities that you worked for.
Well, I got into the downtown world in downtown Phoenix. I'm from Arizona. I'm a Phoenix native. I have an arts background. I was working for the Phoenix Symphony and then made my way into the Downtown Phoenix Partnership and kind of fell in love with it. It was what I wanted to really be doing, promoting my city and coming up with creative projects to help try to drive people down there. We actually had great success when we were down there and seeing Phoenix transform, and it's just continued to snowball since then, and now it's turning into a real world-class city. It really is. I was recruited away from there to go to Tempe, Arizona for their downtown organization.
Still within Arizona,
Yeah, still within Arizona. There, it was during the economic downturn. We had high retail vacancies. It was really rough, and we were able to create programs to help turn that around, and actually drove all new tenants, entertainment and restaurants and even retailers back into downtown Tempe, and had great success. And strangely enough, Kate Borders, who used to have my position here, is now the president and CEO of downtown Tempe. So
wait a minute, so
small
Kate
world.
Borders, wow, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Kate has been a guest. She had some restaurants down here, or was in the restaurant business over here for a while, and
I didn't know
some
that,
other stuff.
actually.
Yeah, she was partnered with a restaurateur down here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew she ran the downtown organization. But yeah, no, she's when my boss retired, my old boss in Tempe, Kate ended up replacing her. So
small world.
Yeah. So after Tempe, I went to Hampton, Virginia. That was my first job as an executive director.
Now you're traveling away from Arizona.
Yes. Yeah, I get totally new experience. I wanted to try something that I was unfamiliar with, an area that I didn't know, and the southeast of the United States, I had really not spent any time there. I said, let's give it a shot. And I was there for about 5 years. We actually did pretty well there. It's an area that had not had any significant development in like 20 to 30 years.
Wow.
And they were trying to get something new. And during my time there, we were able to bring new events and kind of refresh things that were happening there. And right before I left, the developer was going through their plans to get approvals to start the first new mixed-use residential development, and I think about 20 years actually. And it was a big project. It was going to be big chunks of downtown, and I know that finally got approved right after I left. So I'm very proud that Hampton's kind of on its way to revitalization as well. And then I came here. I specifically wanted to get back west so I could be close to family and everything, and Fresno is close enough.
So your first time to Fresno, I want to take you back to when you arrived to Fresno, and actually, because I'm sure you heard about renovations and the street openings and stuff. When you got to Fresno and you saw downtown, did you think there's potential here?
Yes. Yeah, and I knew a couple people that had been from here over the years, and I know Kate Borders, obviously, from before. But yeah, when I got here, I came for my interview, I got off the plane, came into downtown, and I spent 2 days, not counting the time I was doing my interview, I spent 2 days wandering around this downtown, just seeing what was happening, watching people and how they interacted, what they were doing out on the streets, and what times they came out of their businesses. And strangely enough, the first thing that popped in my head is it reminded me of Tucson, and Tucson, Arizona. That's where I went to college, and I still love Tucson. It's a great town. I have fond memories of it. Really cool areas with their downtown and 4th Avenue, and I just got that same vibe here. Like there, I think could be a huge cultural growth in this downtown, and the potential is there to see nighttime activities. Daytime, I mean, there's plenty of business and government workers downtown, and I see more opportunity for new businesses to be housed downtown. But yeah, the potential is definitely there.
So In the cities that you worked in the past, it sounds like they weren't as developed as Fresno. And maybe they were, maybe I'm wrong on that. But the people who are naysayers, the people who say, oh, that new restaurant, it's only a new restaurant. Oh, the street's not going to help. And oh, that means nothing. What do you have to say to the people that are the pessimists about the projects? Because it sounds like you've come from cities where downtowns were further behind our downtown.
Yeah, in ways, yeah. I mean, when I got into downtown Phoenix, it was just starting to change to get more activity, especially in the arts district for like their First Fridays and stuff. But the downtown core, if there wasn't like a basketball game or a baseball game, there was no one downtown at night. There was daytime workers, and then it closed up at night.
Sounds very familiar to the story here.
And it took, I would say it took Phoenix, which, you know, Phoenix is the fifth largest city in the country now. It took them probably 20 years from when they formed their downtown association to get to where they are now, you know, to make that progress. It took a long time, and that's what it takes. You know, Tempe had a history of being an entertainment nightlife hotspot because of Arizona State University being next door. And strangely, that started going away. They chased out a lot of local businesses and it transferred, and it just kind of, when the corporates came in, they realized it didn't work for them and they left again. And so it was kind of almost like starting over there. The funny thing to me about Fresno is it actually seems like downtown Fresno is way ahead of the curve. From my conversations with everyone since I got here, from talking to people here from before, in a very short amount of time, they've managed to change a lot in this downtown. You know, it's way safer than it used to be. If you look at crime stats, cleaner than it used to be. There's way more businesses here than there was before. The opening of the street, that progressed very rapidly. Pedestrian malls nationwide didn't work. It wasn't just here. All across the country, they failed. And as those cities opened up the streets again, some succeeded, some didn't. But a lot of them, they saw new activity come from that. And I think when you look at the passion that people have in Fresno for their downtown, that is a huge catalyst for them to say, okay, this is going to happen. It's time to make it work. And I think the businesses that have already signed on are seeing benefits of that. They're really risk takers to take those jumps. They're pioneers in doing it. But eventually, I think for a good chunk of it, it's going to work out. So.
And there are people who say, you know what, there are a couple of new restaurants, so I'm backing away from that. Is that the philosophy as far as some people will say, oh, it's too much competition, but others say, you know what, the more restaurants, the more people will come in. What is your take on that? Have you thought about that?
You actually want competition. You want a lot of options for people. If you're out there on your own, you're not going to survive. You know, you're just one thing, and people want options. And if you're full, you know, people go to other places, and if they're full, people might come to you. Retail tends to cluster around similar concepts. So, you know, you won't just see a dress store on its own in the middle of nowhere surviving. Usually if there's going to be a lot of dress shops, people have their options and they'll hit them all because they know they can get all their shopping done at once. And that's why shopping centers had done so well for so long, because they were big clusters of activity where you knew you had, if it wasn't going to work at this store, I could go over here and see if they had it, what I was looking for. Same thing with restaurants. You want to have options, and especially when you get into nightlife, you might go to a place and say, okay, yeah, it's fun, but you know, we've been doing this a lot. Let's go check out what's going on over here. Or I don't like the band that's playing here. Let's go see what DJs over here are doing this, and if we want to go dancing instead. So you want those. You want a diverse mix of options all in one area. Yeah.
I'm smiling because, you know, my day job is at the health department, which is on the Fulton Mall, as you know, and we're all volunteers. By the way, it's a perfect opportunity for me to thank the volunteer crew. Gary Johnson and Gary Kennedy is in the studio making us look and sound good. But the reason I bring that up is because the other night we wanted, you know, to bring home food, and I thought perfect. I have a burger place and I have a chicken place, and a few of us wanted burgers, a few of us wanted chicken. So it's exactly what you're talking about. I got one of each, and I went home with a variety, and it worked out well for us. So that variety that people are looking for, that exists out there.
Yes, yeah. And actually, if you look at Mariposa and Fulton, there's a cluster of restaurants right there with Chicken Shack. Toshiko Sushi's opening, I think next month, October is what they're shooting for. You know, you have open during the day, you have like Kids Cafe and the Donut Shop. And then, Just the Tip stays open a little later. They have like barbecue and stuff. And next week, we're going to be having a press conference to announce another new restaurant tenant coming to the Pacific Southwest building. We're not allowed to say their name yet.
And I want to stop you there. Pacific Southwest building, Sevag,
Yes.
and the team over there, they've been on the program, very nice people. Is the restaurant upstairs or downstairs?
Ground floor.
Ground floor.
They'll have outdoor dining. It'll be right on the corner there. It's going to be a very big deal. People in Fresno will know what it is, and they'll be excited about it. I can't really reveal any more at this point.
We don't want you to get in trouble. But the exciting news is that something new is coming to downtown that
is known.
Yeah, which is great.
And with Chicken Shack and stuff, you're already seeing that. But I think you see that kind of becoming. It's really the heart of Fulton when you look at it now, and it's really becoming a cluster of restaurants. That's going to be a nice hotspot for food and stuff. And as you look down the street, you got breweries anchored at one end, and you got a clustering of restaurants, and as new housing comes on board and stuff. I mean, it's all going to feed itself.
For years, we've done shows on downtown because I see it, because I live in West Fresno, but I come to church in downtown and I work in downtown. I see it and some people will say, it's the same thing, but no, we are making strides.
Yes.
How important is the investment from the business owners? And we mentioned one, Pacific Southwest building. The owner there and the team there have done some great things in that building. But you mentioned the chicken place and the new sushi place that's coming up. That owner also did some renovation work. How important is that?
Very important. I mean, when you open up any kind of restaurant or retail shop, I mean, what you put into it is what the public sees. If you just take over a space and you don't paint it and you just display stuff in a haphazard way, people are just going to kind of look at it and say, okay, it's a junk shop, or I don't want to go in there. But if you make it attractive and colorful, and you have, whether it's TVs or entertainment options for people, then they react to that. They will see it and they'll be, okay, this place is clean, it's fun, it's somewhere I know I can get a good meal and enjoy myself and feel comfortable sitting in. And especially when you look at Chicken Shack, it has that kind of vibe.
I want to say that the couple of places that I've been, that vibe is so important. You got the ball game on TV, and it feels just so. The vibe feels so good over there. And I've noticed too that the place is packed. People are starting to go.
Busy. Yeah, even at night. And Los Panchos is another good example of that. They did the renovations, the facade renovations to the front, and they did the renovations to the cantina. And the look in there, I mean, it feels like a cool bar. And they stay open late on a lot of event nights at this point, like soccer games, things like that. So if you go into those nights, you see it. Like, people are there having a good time and enjoying themselves. So there is life in downtown, and that their investment is what's driving that, because they're making people feel comfortable and at home, and giving them exactly what they want.
Let's talk about housing. Businesses, it's obvious businesses are coming. New ones have opened up, and you're about ready to announce another new one. Housing, are we going to see, or are we seeing more housing? Because some of these housing places are full.
Yes, yeah. There's a number of apartment buildings and things up at the north end of Fulton and around the cultural arts area, and they're pretty much all full. They are at capacity. They don't have a lot of vacancy. They're getting market rents, so I mean, it's great. And I know there's multiple developers who are looking at downtown parcels and buildings to get activity going. Sevag at Pacific Southwest has been renovating floors of his building. They do have tenants living in there, luxury condo units in there. But yeah, there are some potential developments slated for downtown. I don't know how much detail I could get into them. I know some of it's public already and some isn't.
Jimmy, we don't want you to get we don't want you to get in trouble in this. You're new to the town, and the last thing we need is you to say, I got so excited, I talked about it, and I got in trouble. No.
Yeah, but I do know some of them are public at this point. They've put information out there, and most of them that I've seen are kind of floating around the southern Fulton area, around the brewery district and stuff. But people do have some other ideas for going in throughout all of downtown, not just on Fulton, but in other areas too. And the more of that we get, the more important it's going to be. So.
What do you need? I mean, it sounds like things are falling into place. You've got restaurants, you've got housing, you've got activities. You had an event on the mall that drew hundreds, if not thousands of people recently. What is it that you need?
What do we need? Well, I mean, people. That's
People.
what you need. People.
Yeah, people need to. So people listening to this broadcast,
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt you, but people listening to this broadcast on KFSR or CMAC, they should come to downtown when? For lunch, for dinner?
Everything. Lunch, dinner, events, just to walk the mall, look at the art and the fountains, you know, go to the cultural arts park and hang out, go to the venues that are doing things downtown, like, you know, Bitwise will have movies, the Crest Theater has movies on Friday nights, Warner's has events, you know, go to those things on a normal basis and support those businesses so they can thrive. You know, you got to create a sense of place in order for the downtown to succeed. And Project for Public Spaces, I say this to everybody, Project for Public Spaces, which is a nonprofit organization based out of New York that really looks at creating vibrant spaces that help their cities thrive. And that leads to place-led development. So you have people investing both from a personal level and then growing it into an area that suits them. So they have a theory that if you have 10 great things in a space, you suddenly have a great space or a great place. And then when you have 10 great places, you have a great area. And then 10 great areas, you have a great city. And it kind of grows from there.
Very creative.
Yeah, yeah. And so downtown needs to have those things where people can have those personal experiences that they hold dear to them to really feel like it's their downtown. And we're on our way to that. You know, people are finding ways to connect, whether it's with the events that happen downtown or certain businesses, like say, you know, I love Tioga Sequoia because, you know, I love craft beers and you know, I feel a connection to that, or I love the Grizzlies, you know, and I go to the ballpark on a regular basis. And as soon as you can start adding more pieces to that, those people are invested in downtown and they're like, okay, I want to own property down there, whether it's commercial or residential. You know, I want to live down there, I want to work down there and spend all my time there. And I think, you know, when you look at the passion that people have for downtown Fresno, just in the community in general already, once they start finding those reasons to connect on a daily basis, they're going to start spending even more and more time down here.
We're running out of time this week on the program, but there are people in the community that look at downtown as spa, as this nuisance, as this kind of area where, ooh, it's bad area, crime. You have had the opportunity to look at other cities and other places. Is this a diamond in the rough? Is this a diamond?
It is. I think it is a diamond. Yeah, I do. I don't even think it's in the rough at this point. I think, personally, I think it's a cool downtown. Like, yes, we need more nightlife. I agree with that. That's something I personally want to see because I'm a nighttime person and I like to get out and people watch. But yes, I think there's a lot of great things here already happening and there's wonderful people doing those things. And I think the naysayers and the people who they're not really paying attention, they're not looking. They might have certain memories of downtown and say, oh, I wouldn't spend time down there, you know, get mugged or something. But it's not true. If you look at homeless stats for downtown, they have been going down, down, down every year. And the police are doing a great job downtown of being proactive and making sure people are safe here. I come down here at night on a normal basis, and I'm talking late at night just to walk around and see what's going on. And it's safe, and it might feel lonely at some points if there's not a lot happening, but it is safe.
But
so.
do you still, Pete, and we're running out of time in the program, but when you come at night and you're walking the mall, do you see other people?
Yeah, I see people walking their dogs. There's people on bikes. It's funny, you wouldn't expect it, but there are people who just walk the mall at night, or walk it's not the mall anymore, the street. They walk it. And it's walking Fulton Street has a great feel with all that art and those fountains and the light and stuff that's down there. It feels special.
So did you come after the street was open?
Yes, I did. So.
Were you here for that?
No.
That was a great celebration.
I heard.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. So how can people find out more information about your organization, about you? Maybe they want to come take a tour.
Go to downtownfresno.org. We have a website there, lots of information already, calendar of events. There's information about our organization. You can find out about special programs we do, like Downtown Academy, which teaches people about downtown and makes them proud of it and becoming ambassadors for it. All types of great stuff like that. It's the best resource we have. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. They see all the ongoing activity of what's happening down here. But yeah, that's the easiest ways to find out what's happening downtown.
Well, thank you for joining us and
thanks.
telling us a little bit about yourself. It's good to have you here, good to know a little bit more about you, and good luck on all your endeavors to bring people to downtown.
All right, thank you for the opportunity.
That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. Thank you to our audience members watching this broadcast on CMAC, Comcast 93, and AT&T 99. Thank you also to those who listen to this broadcast on KFSR 90.7 FM. Thank you to the volunteer crew that made this production and every production possible. Our directors for the day have been Gary Johnson and Gary Kennedy. We hope you enjoyed this program about downtown Fresno. As you know, the studio here that we're recording in is located in downtown Fresno. So come out, take a look at what is here. There are some new businesses. The street, you can walk and see some of the artwork. Take a chance, come out to downtown. We hope you enjoyed the program this week. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For a complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.